Hi friends, welcome to our financial management class today. Today we are going to begin with a new chapter which is dividend policy. Okay, a very interesting chapter, very simple, to understand how the companies distribute dividend amongst their shareholders. Okay, now when I talk about dividend, basically in general terms, dividend is nothing but the profits which the company earn. They distribute this profit to their shareholders, equity shareholders. ठीक है? So my profits earned are obviously those profits belong to the shareholders. But as a company, if I am saying that the earning per share total, okay, the amount which we have now got after paying interest, after paying tax, after paying the preference dividend, the amount left for all the shareholders, say the earning per share is rupees 10. Now from that 10 rupees, I am giving a dividend of 40%. That means 4 rupees. That means I am retaining 60% back in the company, which is rupees 6. Now this 40% of dividend or this 60% of retaining of that amount of profit, is it appropriate? Okay, what is the best for the company? Which is the best dividend policy? Okay, dividend should be generally given when a dividend is being declared and dividend is being given by a company to the shareholders. It gives an effect on the market price also of those companies. Okay, the shareholders, when you are giving them dividend, okay, when you are giving them a return on the investments which they have done, obviously they have a trust which this build up, on that particular company. Kal utke, you need more money, tomorrow there is more requirement, they will be the first ones to come and lend more capital to that same particular firm. So whether this 40% is appropriate or not, because randomly the directors will just not come up, nahi, today I will give 50% dividend. No, today I have to take it 70% in my retaining. So I'll give only 30% dividend. ऐसे random तो नहीं हो सकता, correct? So what should be the best dividend policy? So in this chapter, we are going to study dividend relevance theory. Okay, today what I am going to begin is with this part 1 of the chapter. Part 2 is about M&M hypothesis, Miller and Modigliani. Okay, that we will see in the next lecture. Okay, but today we are going to study about the dividend relevance theory. What should be the best dividend policy? Now that policy or that theory is given by Professor Walter and one Professor Jordan. Okay, they both have made their own models depending upon what is the rate of return expected or what is the rate I generate internally in my organization. Depending upon that, they have given that what should be your ideal dividend to be given. Okay, if your organization is having this much of return generated. So let's see what does Walter model say. Okay, Professor James Walter, he has propounded the theory, and according to him, he is saying that if R is greater than K, company should give least dividend. Now what is R and what is K? I will tell you all again. First we will just read this. Okay. Second, when R is less than K, he is saying company should give maximum dividend. But in some cases where both R and K are the common same, then any proportion of dividend can be given. Now what is R and what is K? Again we will read this after understanding R and K. R is the internal rate of return. Okay, our rate of return. The company's internal rate of return which they are generating and giving to their shareholders. And K is nothing but the outside rate of return. Market में क्या चल रहा है? With the same class of company, with the same amount of earnings, with the same number of shareholders, what is the return which people are expecting outside? Okay, whenever I as an investor want to invest, I will study the market. I will study the industry. In the market, I will see that, okay, this is the actual return which on an average, people in this kind of industry with this risk factors, with this size get. Okay. So what is this particular company giving me the rate of return? So here Mr. Walter is saying that in case if your internal rate of return is greater than your outside rate of return, give the least dividend. Now why so? ऐसा क्यों? सिंपल सी बात है. This is according to Mr. Warren Buffett. Okay. अगर तुम उनके कोई videos you have seen or you know something about him, he always suggests that if as a company you are growing, you are doing really very well, means you are giving a higher return to your shareholders as compared to what you are getting in the other market. So then why should you distribute this profit in form of dividend? Retain it in the company and let that thing grow, na? Let that money grow. Because tomorrow if I will give you that dividend as cash, you will go and invest in some other company which will not give you that much return which my company itself is giving you. So why should this be distributed as dividend? Tomorrow if money is needed, you can definitely sell it in the market. No, you can sell your stake in the market and take money. But dividend distribution least should be there. Why? Because if that dividend is not distributed and money is retained, with that money only the company can grow. If the company will grow, the shareholder stake will also grow. Okay. So according to Walter, he says that if you can generate a higher rate of return as compared to the outside rate of return, then give the least dividend. But if your internal rate of return is less than the outside rate of return, then in that case you give maximum dividend. Obviously, अगर मुझे पता है, okay, I'm already aware that my company is not doing that well as compared to the other companies in the market or in the industry. Okay, it may not be able to even sustain. Then why should I keep the money of the shareholders? It's better I give them maximum dividend so that it is not their loss. They can have that amount of dividend, invest in some other companies where will they get higher rate of return. Okay. So when the internal rate of return generated is less than the outside rate of return, maximum dividend should be given. But if R and K are same, then any proportion decided by the directors and by the company, okay, any proportion of dividend should be fine. Now what? If I am following these three rules, what is the benefit for the company? The benefit is that the share price, okay, Mr. Walter has evaluated this theory and he is saying that if you follow these three rules, the price of the share will be maximum, okay, at whatever given stage. Okay, if you are following these rules of R greater than K and R less than K, you will have the maximum price. The formula states that price is equal to R into E minus D upon K, the whole thing upon K. Now where P is the market price which we are supposed to find, he is saying that it will be the highest. D is the dividend per share, R is the internal rate of return and K is the outside rate of return, or you can say cost of capital, or this you can say return on equity. K and R is done. E is the earning per share. Okay, and he has given us this formula. We will derive this formula and we will see, okay, how this formula has come. Formula as per Walter's model. Okay, where he is saying how to distribute the profit. Distribution of profit in form of dividend. Kitna? Least या maximum or any proportion. So he has given us this formula. Okay. Now the formula which we have otherwise we have known about the cost of equity. Okay. We used to say it is dividend, okay, given upon price today plus the growth. So price will be nothing but dividend upon K. plus the growth. But then what is this growth? Okay, if I just want to elaborate what is growth. So growth is the retained earnings which the company will keep. Okay, retained earnings means dividend. If earning per share is 10 and dividend given is 6, means earnings which they are going to retain is 4 rupees. So that 4 rupees is going to grow, but it will grow at a return generated by the company, internal rate of return, as compared to what is given in the market, right? So ideally the formula is derived with the help of the cost of equity formula only. It's the same thing. Okay, it is the dividend plus what return internally the company can give on the growth. Growth is nothing but BR, the balance reserved or retained, upon the return which is there in the market, the cost which is there in the market on this, upon the whole thing upon K. Okay, so in each type of sums, okay, when we will be doing this Walters, first we will complete Walters model and then we will go on Jordan's model, because it will be relatively simpler if we understand this Walters model completely. Okay, so let's take one example and find out, okay, what will be the best dividend policy. Here in question 1, he is saying there are 3 companies. They have given me the internal rate of return. This company generates 15%, B 5% and C 10%. Cost of capital, which is K, is 10% in each. Earning per share is also rupees 8 in each company. We have to calculate the price when dividend payout ratio is 50%. Second, when dividend payout ratio is 75%. And third is 25%. We are supposed to use the Walter model to determine the price and then comment on the results drawn. Okay, so let's take this. Okay. Question number 1. Walter's model. Okay. Now I have got 3 companies, A, B and C. In my each company, they have given me my R and K. R for A is 15, 5 and 10. So 15%, 5%, 10%. But K is same, 10%, 10%. Cost of capital is same, but internal rate of return is different. Also, they have given me my earning per share, which is rupees 8 per share. Alright, I have to find the price in each situation. Okay, so the first situation is when the dividend payout ratio is equal to 50%. If my dividend payout ratio is 50%, means what? It is 50% of my earning per share. So 50% of it, that is going to give me 4. With the help of D4 and all the other details, I am supposed to find the price. Okay, so we will put the price formula. Okay, what is the price formula? It is D plus R E minus D upon K, the whole thing upon K. So let's put the formula here. It will be D is 4 plus what is my R, 15%. Earning per share is 8 minus balance transfer to reserve is 4. This is upon 10% cost of capital and the whole thing upon 10%. Okay, similarly I'll have to do it for company B. My dividend over here, since I'm doing it with 50% payout ratio, it will be 4. My internal rate of return, my internal rate of return is only 5%. 5%, write it in percentage form. 5%. E minus D. Okay, it is E minus D. So my earnings is 8 minus my dividend, which is 4. So 8 minus 4 upon K, which is 10%, the whole thing upon 10%. And in my last C, again my dividend payout ratio is 4. My internal rate of return is 10%. Earning minus my dividend upon 10%. The whole thing upon 10%. Okay, now when I will calculate this, I will get the price. Okay. Okay, this will be 4 plus 15% of 4 is 0.6. Okay, upon 10% is nothing but 0.10. The whole thing upon 0. Okay, similarly solve this. This will be 4 into 5%. Will be 0.2 upon 0.10. The whole thing upon 10. 4 plus 0.4 upon 0.10, the whole thing upon 0.10. Okay. Now after solving this, this will be 4 plus 6 upon 0.10. 4 plus 4 plus 2 divided by 0.10, and this will be 4 plus 4 divided by 0. So it will be 10 divided by 10%. Here this will be rupees 100. This will be rupees 60. And this is going to be rupees 80. Okay. So this was when my dividend payout ratio was 50%. Okay. So 100, 60 and 80. Now let's see the second part. When my dividend payout ratio is 75%. Okay. Now dividend, second part of the sum is dividend payout ratio is equal to 75%. Based on that, my dividend will be equal to earning per share into 75%. That will be 6 rupees. So I have to just put it in my formula. It will be dividend plus internal rate of return, earnings minus dividend upon the cost was 10, the whole thing upon 10%. Similarly, again dividend payout ratio will remain 6, but my internal rate of return was 5%. Okay, earning per share minus dividend upon 10%, the whole thing upon 10%. Here also my dividend will say 6, but my internal rate of return was 10%. 8 minus 6 on 10%. Okay, here my price when you calculate will come rupees 90. Here it will be rupees 70 and here it will be rupees 80. Okay, and in the last one they are saying my dividend payout ratio is equal to 25%. That means dividend will be earning per share, which is 8 into 25%. So my dividend is only going to be 2. So when I will put it in my formula, it will be dividend plus my internal rate of return is 15%. Earning was 8 minus my dividend. Okay. The whole thing upon K, and this whole thing upon K. 2 plus 5% was my internal rate of dividend, 8 minus 2 upon K, and in the end again 2 plus my internal rate of dividend, internal rate of return was 10%. Okay, therefore here my price is going to be rupees 110, here it is going to be rupees 50, and in this case it is going to be rupees 80. Okay, when I will be solving this. Now let's see what is the exact situation, whether when R was greater than K and all. Okay, now in my entire this, in case of A, my R is greater than my K. Here my R is less than K, and here my R is equal to K. So in my C, okay, C, any kind of dividend, any proportion of dividend will be fine. There is no problem in that. Okay, but the price will be good only. But when my R is greater than K, here, okay, when my R is greater than K, according to Walter, he says it should have a least dividend. If it has a least dividend, the price will be highest. So least dividend सब में कौन सा था 25%. तो देखो price highest है कि नहीं इसमें? It's the highest. But when R is less than K, then he should give maximum dividend. Only then the price will be the highest. So maximum dividend wala 75% hai. So here then the price will be highest. See 60. Then it was 70 and 50. So where was the highest price? When the dividend payout ratio was the most. And in the last one where R is equal to K, तुम कुछ भी करो, okay, any proportion of dividend, okay, price will be same. See, it is rupees 80, and even in the last one it is rupees 80. Okay, so this is the best example, best sum, for us to understand that how does the Walters model work with the help of different dividend payout ratios, whether the price which he is talking about should be maximum if we follow the rules of R and K, then the results drawn with the help of those formulas. Okay, the formula is very simple. It is nothing but it is dividend plus whatever is my internal rate of return, earning per share minus dividend upon the cost of capital, the whole thing upon cost of capital. Okay, let's take another example. R is equal to 15%. Earning cost of capital is 10% and earning per share is rupees 5. Company has 1 million equity shares of rupees 10 each. Calculate the value of the firm using Walters model. Okay, let's solve this sum. Question number 2. Okay, we have to use Walters model. They are saying we have A, B and C, 100% retention, 50%, and then there is no retention. So plan A, plan B and plan C, where there is 100% retention, here there is 50% of retention, and here there is no retention. When I say retention, means I am keeping my amount in my reserves. I am not giving that as a dividend. If I am saying 100% retention, therefore dividend will be 0. Dividend payout will be 0. Your dividend payout ratio will be 50%. and your dividend payout ratio will be 100% because they are not retaining anything. Okay, so now if I have to calculate my price is dividend plus internal rate of return, earning minus dividend upon the cost of capital, the whole thing upon cost of capital. They have given me my R and my K. R is 15% and K is 10%. Okay, so in my first plan, if I put my dividend as 0, R is 15%. Okay, earning per share is also given to me rupees 5. 5 rupees. So it will be 5 minus 0 upon 10%, the whole thing upon 10%. Here dividend payout ratio is going to be 50%. So my dividend over here is going to be 2.5. So 2.5 plus internal rate of return, earning per share minus dividend upon cost of capital, outside cost of capital, the whole thing upon cost of capital. And in the last one, dividend payout ratio is 100. Therefore, full 5 rupees. So here it will be dividend plus internal rate of return into earning per share was 5, dividend given is also 5 upon 10%, the whole thing upon 10%. After solving this, okay, I am getting my price over here as rupees 75. Here I am getting my price as rupees 62.5 and here it is rupees 50. Now if I see my results, I want to comment, my R is greater than my K. If I am following Walter's model, I should have 0% of dividend and a least dividend. Only then my market price will be highest. So at this market price is highest. They are asking me what is the value of the firm using the Walters module. They have 1 million equity shares. Price of the share I have already got. So here value of the firm, will be equal to here 75 million. This will be 62.5 million and 50 million. Alright. So just checking that whether with the help of this model, the price of the share is coming highest after following the rules of the model. Okay. Now let's move to this next sum. Here they are saying my R is 15%, my earning per share is rupees 25 and the price earning ratio is 12.5 times. Use the Walters model to decide the dividend payout ratio. Okay. So question number 3. Okay. They are telling me that I'm just writing the given. R is 15%. My earning per share is equal to rupees 25. Okay. And they have given me my price earning ratio as 12.5 times. Okay. Now there is one, we know our price earning ratio ka formula. What is price earning ratio? Price upon earning per share. Correct? And what is my KE when I want to find my K, cost of capital, okay, in cost of equity share capital, as per earning per share formula is EPS upon market price. So basically they are reciprocal of each other. So I can say that price earning ratio is nothing but 1 upon KE. Price earning ratio is given to me 12.5, 1 upon K. Okay, so if K will be equal to 1 upon 12.5%. Okay, I have to find it in form of percent. So 1 divided by 12.5% will give me 8%. Okay, therefore now I have my K, cost of capital as 8%. R they have already given me is 15%. So since R is greater than K, as per my Walters model, my dividend payout ratio should be least. So say dividend payout ratio is 0%. Now let's find the price. Price is nothing but dividend plus internal rate of return. Okay, earning per share minus the dividend upon the cost, the whole thing upon the cost of capital. Okay, I am saying that the dividend should be 0. Internal rate of return is 15%. Earning per share is 25. Dividend is 0 upon 8%. The whole thing upon 8%. Okay, so calculate this. You will get the price which will be the highest. Okay, if you give a dividend payout ratio as 0. Okay, so this is basically 0 plus 3.75. 15% of 25 is 3.7.5 upon 0.8. The whole thing as 0.80. So 3.75 divided by 0.8 will give you 4.6875. The whole thing upon 0.80. Okay. डिवाइड बाय 8% भी कर सकते हो तुम. 4.6875. The amount is, okay, this whole thing you can do then multiply it by 100. Okay, so you will get a proper accurate answer. If you all don't know how to simplify it and solve this, it will be rupees 585.94 rupees price of the share. Okay, so you have to practice solving this. You can do it divide by 8% or 0.80, then the whole thing divide by again 8%, or you can convert it in the form of decimal. Alright, now let's see question number 4. Earnings is given 10 lakhs and the estimated earnings of the company is 2,50,000. If such profits are retained, K is 10%, company has 1 lakh equity shares. What should be the dividend payout ratio? ठीक है. Question number 4. Okay, they are telling me that KO is 10%. Also, company's rate of return. R they have not given me, but they have given me expected profits. Expected to earn 2,50,000 and total earnings is of rupees 10 lakhs. Okay. So, it will be 2,50,000 over 10 lakhs. Into 100. So, my R is going to be 25%. Now, since my R is greater than my K, my dividend payout ratio should be least, it should be 0%. So, with the help of this, price is dividend plus R E minus D upon K, the whole thing upon K. Dividend I am saying it should be 0. Rate of return internal is 25%. Okay, earning per share Okay, earning per share will be, how many 1 lakh equity shares I have? Earnings total is 10 lakhs. Okay, so earning per share also I'll just find out here. Earning per share is 10 lakhs divided by 1 lakh. So it will be rupees 10 per share. So here it will be 10. Dividend to hai 0. Upon K they have given me 10%. The whole thing is upon 10%. So 0 plus 0.25 upon 0.10, the whole thing upon 0.10. This will give you rupees 250. Okay. Rupees 250 will be the price of the share. Alright. So this was all about the Walters model. Okay. Wherein he is talking about distribution of profit in form of dividend. Wherein he is saying if R is more than K, then least dividend. If R is less than K, then maximum dividend. And if R is same as K, then any proportion of dividend can be given. Okay. Okay. Now coming to the second part, okay, wherein we are talking about the second theory which is given by Gordon. He's talking from the point of view of retention of profits. Okay, first we spoke about distribution of profit. He is saying about the retention of profit. So what does he have to say is, he says that if your internal rate of return is greater than your cost of capital, then you should retain maximum. तो वही क्या था ना हमने, we gave the least dividend, means what, we retained maximum. If your R is less than K, internal is less than the actual cost, then you should retain minimum. That means we were doing maximum dividend. Okay, and if it is same, then you can retain any amount. So if these three rules are followed, then we will get the highest price of the share. What is the formula for the price? Earnings 1 minus B. B is the balance transferred to reserves, BR, upon the cost of capital minus the balance transferred to reserve. I will show you how this also formula is derived with the help of a normal cost of equity formula, dividend upon price plus growth. So if I am taking my growth over there, will get subtracted upon dividend plus price. Now what is this dividend? Dividend is basically whatever is the earning per share. Okay, उसमें से तुमने balance कितना transfer किया? How much you have put in your reserves, retained it. Okay, balance retained. That is why it is known as BR. So the balance is given as dividend. If 60% is retained, 40% is given as dividend. So dividend is nothing but from my earnings per share, 1 minus my balance retained in form of percentage. Okay, so say earning per share is 10 as per my this example. 1 minus 0.60, my balance retained, upon my cost of capital, which they actually give me, the outside cost of capital minus my balance retained, will be the price of my share. Okay, so this formula is nothing but derived through the help of the formula of cost of equity only. Correct? So let's see. Let's take one example of Gordon's model. Calculate the market price of a share of ABC Limited under both Walter and Jordan. Now I'm doing this Gordon's model. Earning per share is 5 and dividend per share is rupees 3. Cost of capital, which is K, 10. Internal rate of return is 20. And retention ratio, dividend payout ratio is 50%. Okay, I am doing as per the You all can try with the help of Walter's model the price. I am trying it as per Gordon's model. Okay, so let's begin. Question number 5. I am doing Gordon's model. Okay, just pehle we'll write the given. K is 16%. R is equal to 20%. Dividend payout ratio is 50%. Okay. Earning per share is rupees 5. And dividend per share is rupees 3. Okay. So now with the help of his formula, first I'll just write down his formula. He is saying price is equal to earning per share 1 minus balance transferred to reserves or balance retained upon cost of the capital minus BR. Okay. So now here my earning per share they have already given me. 1 minus balance transferred to reserve will be how much? 50%. No. My dividend payout ratio is 50%. So 50% is 0.50. Dividend payout ratio is 0.50. So BR will be also 50%. Na? Upon KE, K cost of capital they have given me is 16%. So 0.16 minus BR. Okay. This will be 16%. KO is 16% and BR will be minus B into R will be 50% of my balance retained into my internal rate of return. Okay, this much I can give as a growth, okay, when I retain that balance. So it will be 5 into 0.5 upon 0.16 minus 50% into 20% means 0.5 into 0.2 will be 1. Okay, so 5 into 0.5, this will be 2.5. This will be 0.1. 0.16 minus 0.1, 0.06. So 2.5 divided by 0.6 into 100. This will give me 41.66 rupees as my price. Okay, we will just see once more. K is given to me 16%, R is given 20%, earning per share, dividend per share. Okay, dividend payout ratio they have given me. If my dividend payout is 50%, that means my retained earnings, okay, my balance which I am retaining is going to be B. My balance retained is, don't write R over here, you all will get confused otherwise. Okay, so my balance retained will also be 50% only. Okay, that means earning per share 1 minus balance retained upon cost minus the balance which I am going to retain. I am going to give you all some growth on that. So 5 into 1 minus 0.5 upon 16% is the cost of capital minus the balance which I have retained I'm going to get a return of 20% internal rate of return on it. So 5 into 0.5 upon 0.16 minus 0.10, which will give you rupees 41.66 or 67. Okay, let's take one more sum. KE is 15%, earning per share is rupees 30. R, three different rate of returns they have been 14, 15 and 16. We are supposed to find the market price of the share as per Gordon's model if B, balance retained is 40, balance retained is 60% and balance retained is 80%. Okay. So, let's solve this sum. Question number 6 as per Gordon's model. Okay. We have to find the price. There are three different situations in which R is differing. Okay. Here R is 14% in first, then we have 15%, and then we have 16%. Internal rate of return. KE is common. So cost of capital is given to me as 15%. So here everywhere it will be 15%. Okay. Now they are telling me my B, balance which I am retaining. In case 1 is 40, case 2 is 60 and then it is 80%. Okay. So first one, what I will do is, B is 40%. Okay, balance retained is 40%. So my formula, price is equal to, as per my Gordon's model, will be earning 1 minus balance retained upon KE minus B into R. Okay. So the earning per share they have given me. Yes, they have given me rupees 30. 1 minus balance retained they have given me 40, no, in my first case. So 0.40 upon KE is 15% minus B into R. 40% into my R is 14%. Okay. So solving this, I am getting 30 into 0.6, which is 18 upon 0.15. Okay. 0.4 into 0.14. 0.15 minus 0.056. 0.15 minus 0.056 will give me 18 upon 0.094. So this is going to be 18 divided by 0.094. So the price is going to be rupees 191.49. Then just round it off. Similarly, I will have to do the price with the help of in situation B. My earnings is 30. My balance retained is 0.40. My KE is 15% and my balance retained 40% into R 15%. Okay, this is going to come as 18 upon 0.15. Now 0.4 into 0.15. 0.06. So this is going to be 18 upon 0.09. So your 18 divided by 0.09, that is going to give you rupees 200. Okay, and in my last, okay, so now dividend policy, we have been talking about two theories, dividend relevance theory. In that we are speaking about Walter's model and Gordon's model. So we saw the rules for declaration of dividend, declaration or payment of dividend. Both the theories were on the same basis, which said that if the dividend is to be paid and the rules are followed, okay, then the market price of that company will be highest if the rules are followed. So it had a relevance. Dividend given, not given had a relevance on the market price of the share. Now we are left with this dividend irrelevance theory. Okay, so we have finished this part 1. Now part 2. Dividend irrelevance theory is given by M&M, Miller and Modigliani. Okay. Now he has to say that whether you pay dividend or declare or pay dividend, it will have no effect on the market price. Let's see. Okay, what are his basis of hypothesis or the basis of theory? Say suppose a company, ABC Limited, right? They declare dividend. So now once dividend is declared, it is to be paid. Okay, so payment हो गया dividend. After payment of dividend, we are saying that the price changes. Price will change. Price of the shares will change. Okay, so based on this declaration of dividend having relevance on the price, so say suppose declaration हुआ, dividend payment भी हो गया, now price of the share has now changed. Now this same company, since they have already given some amount as dividend and now they need money for further investment to grow the business, so they will have a shortage. In order to fulfill that shortage, they will issue new shares. Which will ultimately make the market value of the share same. PO is the base price today. KE is my cost of equity. And D1 is my dividend. Okay. Now if I want to derive this formula, okay, let's see. Let's derive this formula and see. We already know our cost of equity formula. Okay, we had said cost of equity is nothing but D1 upon P0 plus the growth. Okay. Now say my growth example. There are different ways of deriving cost of equity. Okay, I am taking this formula. Say my growth is nothing but say अभी मेरा price पहले था 10 rupees और अब हो गया 12 rupees. Okay, so this is my new price and old price. So my growth is basically 2 rupees, no? So it is what? P1 minus P0. Okay, now KE into P0 will be D1 plus P1 minus P0. Okay, P1 plus P1 minus P0. Now I want to find my P1. Okay, so KE P0 plus P0. This I am going to take it there. Okay, assume no brackets here. I am going to take my P0 here. Minus D1 will give me my P1. Right, so basically if I remove my P0 common, so it will be KE plus 1 minus D1, which will give me my new price. So the formula which is being derived by him is nothing but what we had done with the cost of equity. Okay, so after declaration of dividend, now the formula remains same. P1 is equal to P0, 1 plus KE minus D1. 1 plus KE or KE plus 1 and the same thing. Minus D1 will give me my price, new price after the declaration of dividend. Now he is saying that this M is nothing but new shares, which will now have to issue because we have declared dividend and now we have to do investment. So here he says that M is nothing but investment which we wanted to do minus the shortage. शॉर्टेज कैसे पता चला? जो अर्निंग्स थी माइनस D1 है कि नहीं, अपॉन P1. नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स ढूंढने के लिए, ओके, व्हेनेवर आई वांट टू फाइंड नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स आई विल से अमाउंट अपॉन प्राइस. सो व्हाट इज द अमाउंट आई नीड अपॉन द न्यू प्राइस विच आई हैव फाउंड. ओके, एंड देन द लास्ट इज द मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म. Now that we will see later on. We'll first take some examples so that we have our figures in our place. Okay, and then we will see how the market value remains the same whether we declare dividend or whether we do not declare dividend. Okay? Come. Question number 7 for that. Following are the details of ABC Limited. They have given me my K, which is 10%. 1 lakh shares are there of ₹100 each. They are contemplating a declaration of ₹6 as dividend at the end of the year. Answer the following points. What is the price at the end of the year if dividend is not declared? What will be the price if the dividend is declared? Assuming that the firm has a net income or the earnings of 10 lakhs and they want to make an new investments of 20 lakhs, how many new shares must be issued? Is the value of the firm going to get affected whether dividend payment is done or not? And is the M&M theory realistic? Okay, so all these questions we will answer based on the information given. Okay, now I am writing the given part. Okay, so now in each sum, okay, in this type of sums, they will always give us certain variables. Okay, so let's write the given. They have given me K, which is 10%. Then they have also given me my dividend, which they are contemplating to declare ₹6 per share. Okay, earnings they have given me is ₹10 lakhs. Investments they want to make of ₹20 lakhs. Okay, and the price today is ₹100 per share. Now we have to see whether dividend declared, not declared, what is the change in the market price. Okay, so keeping all these details, same, just make 2 columns, put the formula. First column is when dividend is declared and dividend not declared. Okay, so let us first find the price. So price formula is P1 P0 1 plus KE minus D1. So in my dividend declared, my price will now be 100 is P0, 1 plus KE. KE is 10% minus D1 is 6. Okay, so my price will now be 100, 1 plus 0.1 minus 6. So this will be 100 into 1.1 minus 6, that is going to give me 104 rupees price. Let's see if dividend is not declared. What will be the price? It will be 100, 1 plus KE. Dividend not declared means dividend is 0. So when I will solve this, I'll get my price as 110. Okay. So dividend declared and dividend not declared price we have found. Now we have to find our new number of shares to be issued. The investments which I need minus the shortage. Shortage I come to know because I have the earnings and I declared the dividend. The whole thing upon T1. Right? Investments, they have already given me rupees 20 lakhs. Okay. Earnings are 10 lakhs. Minus D1. D1 is the distribution of dividend per share is rupees 6 and I have such 1 lakh shares. If you want, you can write here number of shares. Existing number of shares is 1 lakh. Okay, so when I'll declare dividend, it will be 1 lakh into 6. So here it will be 6 lakhs. Okay, 1 lakh into rupees 6 per share. Upon what is my price? 104. When you will calculate this, you will get 15,385. Okay, approximate, a round figure. Same thing, now we have to do it with the help of no dividend. So, in case of no dividend, investments needed is 20 lakhs. Minus, I have an earnings of rupees 10 lakhs. Minus 0. The price is 110. So now new number of shares which I will have to issue will be 9,091. Now with the help of this new number of shares, we will find the market value of the firm. Okay. NPO. Okay, new price. Okay, of the firm. That is N plus M. N is nothing but existing shares. M is the new number of shares. We have already found P1. We know our earnings and KE also is given to us. So based on this, we will be writing a formula. NPO will be nothing but existing shares plus new shares into which price? The new price minus investments plus the earnings which I have. The whole thing upon 1 plus KE. So my existing shares were 1 lakh plus 15,385 new shares I have issued. At what price? 104. Minus 20 lakhs was my investment minus my, plus my earnings are 10 lakhs. 1 upon KE is 10%. Okay, so now when you will calculate this will be 1,15,385 into 4 minus into 104 minus this will be 10 lakhs upon 1 plus 10% is nothing but 1 plus 0.1. Okay, so now 1,15,385 into 104 is giving me 20 lakhs minus 10 lakhs. This will be 11.1. So you will get approximately 100 lakhs. Approximately 100 lakh shares. 100 lakh will be the value. Okay. Now amount, okay, the value of the firm with the new shares. Same thing if I will do it with the help of my no dividend declared. And with the new shares, that is only how much? 9,091. So now I will have 1 lakh plus 9,091 shares at a price of 110 minus 20 lakhs plus 10 lakhs, the whole thing upon 1 plus KE. Okay, so this will be 1 lakh 9,091 into 110 minus 10 lakhs upon 1.1. So calculate this. This will be 1,091 into 110 minus, I am getting the same answer. Approximately the value of the firm is 100 lakhs. Okay, so whether dividend is declared or not declared, okay, when an investment has to be made, the shortage has to be fulfilled by the new number of shares, because of which the market value of the firm remains the same. Okay, so this was the Modigliani and Miller's theory. Now, what is this theory basically? I will say that the last question which they are asking, okay, is the MM theory realistic? Okay, I will say M&M theory, okay, which is based on irrelevance, dividend irrelevance theory, it is also known as irrelevance theory. It is not realistic. Okay, why it is not realistic? The first reason, okay, because it is difficult to computation, okay, is complex. Also, he assumes that there is no tax. Third, other conditions which have an effect on market price, okay, other conditions are not taken into consideration, are not considered. And he is saying that there is always a need of investment, okay, and that investment has to be compulsorily fulfilled by issue of shares, which is not true in all the cases. Okay, so Modigliani and Miller's theory is known as dividend irrelevance theory, because according to him, whether dividend is given or not given, it will not have any effect on the price of the shares of the company, and thus this says that the market value of the firm will remain same. Alright, so we have seen both the theories, dividend relevance theory and dividend irrelevance theory, and these are the sums and examples to make your concepts more clear. You can go through each of them once again, okay, and solve it, okay, from your end, so that you will have it all done in one go. Okay, so this is it with the dividend policy.